McNeil said it all, right? Right? What is up, A's faithful? Welcome to the Habit Hunter A's podcast in the House Always Wins podcast network. Do all A's media a favor, and we support our fellow athletics content creators, right? Do them and me a big favor and make a habit of taking a moment and clicking like and subscribe. I get it. Every video you click on says the same thing. Like and subscribe, like and subscribe. But for real, it keeps a massive amount of A's content in the algorithm. And that's what we're here for is to grow the base, regrow the base. I'm Tim Burns. You can call me Hobbs. I'm a sports writer covering the athletics for the guys at Mid-Valley Sports out of Los Angeles, where I cover the amazing A's as well as the entire NFL desk. You can also find me at Sacktown A's Fans for Life on X and this, the Habit Hunter podcast. Habit Hunter is a show that reviews the week's games in each series. You'll see me at the end of each series, analyzing trends, tendencies, both good and bad. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of it's bad. But, it's going to turn around, guys. It's going to turn around. And if you're a baseball guy like me, you know when someone is locked in, like Shay, and you know when they can't hit a slider to save their life, which currently seems to be almost everyone. We will cover what players are trending up or down, analyze moves management and ownership make. As A's fans, we've been shell-shocked by ownership, and the last few years have bred distrust. We look at ownership through a narrower lens. It's justified for fans to be put off, for the last 10 years. For real, I took my own year off, but, I've been going to games since 1971, ever since I was a little guy, a real little guy. I got stories, meeting Reggie, meeting Ray Fosse, Hendu at Marine World, being the loudest fan in right field for game 1 of the 88 World Series in L.A., watching Gibson hit a homer just to the left and behind me. I got a police escort down the front. Actually, I swore I was going to mention a little bit of it, but I'm going to hold off, man. All of that for another time. The stadium's getting there, guys. They've started the vertical construction of the bowl part of the stadium, so it's moving up. It's not just the groundwork anymore. It's moving fast. Ownership has spent some serious cash securing some of our core young stars. Recent valuation of the team shows the A's are worth $500 million more than last season. The House Always Wins podcast network is here to rebuild the fan base, and I hope you will check out the entire list of amazing shows. All on Green, Stats Meet Instinct, Budget Baseball, so many more. You can wake up before 10, and Booney will dose you up with some A's knowledge, and he's there after the games as well to critique and, get a feel for what happened. Lots of shows. Everyone is a badass, so check them out. Anyway, so let's break down the Braves series together and see what's trending at the plate and on the mound. You tell me what you see in the comments as the show progresses, all right? I know this isn't live, but I'm hoping to be doing that soon. With that, let's go ahead and get cracking. The Braves batting around in the first is not what I envisioned in the A's resetting of the season after Toronto. 4-0 loss, and I was bent in the first. Our starter, Jacob Lopez, allowed half the batters he faced to reach base. 4 batters in, we're 2 down. We're down 2 runs. Going walk, single, pop out, thank you. First pitch double is not a good start. Jacob walked 5, but I'll give him this. He only allowed 1 to score. Well, let's be real. I'm compensating. I think all A's fans are compensating right now. We're all making some excuses right now. He did pick one of those 5 walks off Acuna Jr., which was kind of nice. You're going to hear more about pickoffs because we're getting kind of good at that. I'm noticing that from spring training on. We have a knack. Anyway, he got out of the start down only 2-0, and I don't know how he did that. The fact is, he failed to strike out anybody, and that's not like him, So 5 walks, no strikeouts, that's not a good day. His fastball sailed on him a lot. While the hits against him were weak, they were against most of his pitches. So fastball, slider, cutter, everything he was throwing, they were getting weak contact for the most part, and they were finding spots. What are you going to do? He was behind 2-0 7 times. He had 6 full counts. The only saving grace was he left 8 stranded in 4 innings. He allowed 3 earned, and he took the loss. Justin Sterner, I don't believe he had quite a good outing his first time up. He looked good. Big improvement from his appearance in Toronto. He gave up 3 hits and a run in an inning in Toronto. He was 2 scoreless innings versus Atlanta. Monday was a quick, solid outing. 3 up, 3 down. 2 of the batters, they were down 0-2, 2 struck out. It was an efficient 11-pitch fifth. I like it. We see him in the first 2 games of this series. Elvis Alvarado, he had a good 6th. He did give up a double to Acuna Jr. I mean, 103 off the bat. But what are you going to do? The guy's a former MVP. You know, the guy is just one of the most amazing players in baseball. I know he's an opponent, but I love watching good baseball. And that guy's a good athlete. Good athlete. Elvis pitches in the rubber game, and he struggles, but we'll talk about that in a bit. We've been discussing for weeks. We all know what Mark Leiter Jr. is. Lots of foot traffic, and he gave up a single to his first batter in the 7th. This happens again later on. It's a full-blown trend. Giving up bases to the first batter an A's pitcher faces. It's happening a lot. It's happening all the time. That said, he made up for it. He picked off Ozzie Albies at first base. We've been good since spring started, like I said. Not just pitchers, catchers, even our backups. I remember there's a pickoff at third, and there was a couple of pickoffs at first, I believe. He set down the inning in 8 pitches. So he seems to be bucking his history of high foot traffic equaling high number of runs scored. Okay, so he usually gives up 4.5 runs. That's his ERA, 4.5. I think it's 1.5 WHIP. So that's his for his last few years. The batters are hitting 417 against him this year. Mass says they're going to eventually get to him, but so far so good. He's holding his own. It's just he's making it an adventure. Every start's an adventure with this guy. Every appearance. Excuse me. Mike Kelly started the 8th. He gave up a triple. Obviously, I gave up a triple, and a single RBI sealed the game. It was already out. The bats were so ineffective. The game was pretty much done. I said it last week. Brett Rooker needed to take some pitches. He had swung at like 87% of his pitches he saw in the series. Remember back, 1 for 13, 8 punch outs, 8 0-2 counts, and 6 Ks on 3 pitches. So, basically he was swinging out his ass. But it was kind of weird because in spring he batted .340. He had 5 home runs, 12 RBIs. So it was odd to see the lack of discipline in the first series. In this game, for one reason or another, and there's always variables in that. He took the first pitch of every at bat. He went 2 for 4. So being a little more selective, maybe that panned out. It definitely appeared so with 2 for 4. Now he did choke a double play with 2 on in the 8th, but at least he was resisting his urge to swing at everything, right? Tyler Soderstrom, he had 2 singles, and his body language says he's a little more comfortable than he was in Toronto. Carlos Cortez, he got a start. All right, buddy, come on, go lay down. He got a start and had a hit and a 4-pitch walk. I think, all right. Here he is. You big goofball. All right. At this point in the season, we were 3 for 36 the first time through the lineup. And that's an 86 batting average. And it means bats don't even start waking up until the 4th for the A's. 4 of our 7 hits this game were with 2 outs. And it's hard to rally anything with 2 outs and no one on. We got our first win on Tuesday, right? 5-2. Aaron Savali started his first game in green and gold. And I like what we're getting for $6 million. Monday, we were down 2-0 after 4 batters. And we were down 1-0 after just 2 batters on Tuesday. Yeah, I was a little worried about Savali's 4 home runs in spring training. And then when Jake Baldwin goes yard 410 at 103, 105 off the bat, we're down 1-0. I was a little stressed. I was like, oh, here we go again. And then he gives up the single. A little worried. He went on to retire. 12 of the next 13 batters. Solid game. Love it. $6 million. Maybe we might want to extend him if he has a couple more outings like that. Maybe try to get a couple more out of him. Anyway, back-to-back singles and a wild pitch. Scored the remaining run, but all the way in the fifth. And he ended the day there. But he didn't leave without forcing 2-0-2 counts on his final two batters. He retired them both. So he left on a strong note, even though he gave up the back-to-back singles. 5 innings, 4 hits, a walk, 3 Ks, 2 earned runs. First win. Finally, we can be happy. Hogan Harris, he relieved Savali in the 6th, walked 2 batters, but he retired the final 2 hitters on 3 pitches each. Hogan is just, to me, he is the most solid reliever, period. You get a consistency with him. I'm not afraid every time he touches the ball. He walked 2 batters, but I still had that feeling like he was controlling it, Justin Sterner, he was back 2nd day in a row. He walked the first guy he faced because, of course, that's what A's pitchers do. Got to get that first guy on, make it fun. Muncy's 2nd error of the series, people are starting to stress. I heard it on some of the shows. We knew he was going to be an error guy. We did. We just liked the second best batting average or whatever it was in spring training. It's going to balance out, but yeah, we might be looking at a couple other people for third base occasionally. I don't know. Anyway, Sterner, 2 on, nobody out, but he struck out 2 of the next 3 and ended the threat. Barlow, he had an easy 10-pitch 8th. And me and some of the guys we were chatting at the time, we kind of wanted to see him in the 9th, right? And Kotsay went with Mark Leiter Jr., right? Mark Leiter Jr. closing. Leiter is the last reliever on this staff I want to see in the 9th. His career speaks for itself. His whip the last few years is over, like I said, 1.5. Career ERA around 4.5. This tells me something. Lots of base runners that score, right? It's not like he's starting. He has let the first batter he faces in each inning reach base 5 of the 6 innings he's had so far. So he's starting off with problems 5 of the 6 times. He went single out single to start the 9th in this game. He put the tying run at the plate. Now, credited, he netted up. He struck out 1 and he retired the next 2 on 7 pitches to get the save. That's all well and good, but opponents are batting .417, 5 singles, a hit batter, 2 2/3 innings. That's 6 base runners. Do not use this man as a closer. Are you crazy? We're supposed to be in the stats era, metrics and all, and that math screams. It says it. He can't get 3 outs in a row without base traffic. And that's exactly what the closer job requires. So what is he doing there? What is Kotsay thinking? And something I learned today, that maybe I'm not the only person that's a little critical of Mark Kotsay's decisions with pitching. Anyway, after going 3 for 36 with 16 strikeouts the first time through the lineup in the first 4 games, the first series, first game, the A's busted out a trend in this. We sent 8 batters to the plate in the 2nd inning. Now, what's unusual, it was an unusual inning for the team because Rooker started off, he hit a nice solid single right off the bat. But then Sodi hit into a double play. And so far this season, that usually kills an inning. Now, 2 outs, nobody on does not translate to A's runs this year. I mean, not much translate to A's runs right now, but Muncy, he walked and they balked. So he was sitting there on second base. Andy Ibanez steps up, RBI single. I love Ibanez from spring training. He always seemed to be in the middle of rallies. You just, because there were a lot of games you didn't see, you obviously, you had to watch StatCast, but watching his at bats and he was always in the middle of rallies. You got to the point where you felt like, oh, he's gonna get a hit more often than he's not. It just had that feeling. He was gonna get on base. He was gonna continue the rally. Anyway, Butler 4-pitch walked, and Denzel Clark followed with his own walk to load the bases. Now, Clark went 1 for 3. I've been hard on him the last couple of weeks, but in my opinion, he had a really good day at the plate. He took 0-2 start, which is typical for him. That's his problem. He starts off 0-2. and he forced a full count before walking. Now, this is what it shows me. It shows me he's a little more patient, right? And we haven't seen that much from Denzel. Not in the spring, not in the season, not last season for that matter. His AB pitch counts were 6 pitch, 7 pitch, 5 pitch, 2 pitch. A lot of people, not very many people really look at that kind of thing. I do, because it's telling me he's watching. He's not, he's being patient. And that helps. That helps be productive, even if 8 pitches, it's an out. You're wearing down the pitcher, right? Especially as a starter. That's a far cry from 3-pitch Ks and 0-2 counts and swinging at pitches out of the zone from the first series and pretty much all of Denzel's spring. Denzel was a different guy at the plate. Now, I'm going to sidebar this for a second. Clark is the best fielding center fielder I've ever seen. Proved that in the rubber game, right? Do you guys see that? I mean, he's going to be a player of the year guy, or play of the year, play of the year. Just like last year, right? That said, he has a very small 2026 sampling of good at bats and a large sampling of suck, right? I stand firm that I like what I saw on this day. And if it stayed that way, great, right? But it didn't. He went back to 0-2 count, swinging away out of zone. Now, it was only 2 at bats, but, you see it. Everybody sees it. They really do. People are just kind of either ignoring it or justifying it or saying it doesn't really matter. And the guys came for me. A couple of you guys came for me, busting my balls. Like he became a Ricky Reborn at the plate on Tuesday. And what I saw was cool. 1 for 3. Outstanding. He was taking some pitches. Outstanding. But that's the anomaly. That's not the regular. The anomaly is the good day. I saw there was banner on X between Sam from Stat Meets Instinct here on the House Always Wins podcast network and Andrew from All on Green. Now, everyone sees it. It comes down to how long do we ignore it, right? I didn't see the exact what happened, but I saw some banner back and forth that there was a lot going on X. You guys send me that. Sam, Andrew, you guys send me that. I want to see that. And give me the link. Anyway, as Jules in Pulp Fiction says, will allow me to retort. Denzel still has 2 hits in 2026. What are we talking about? If you include spring training, he's batting 97. So I'm going to stand by my assessment. Thank you very much. The amazing catch aside, I would rather see him give the bat outs at the plate while fixing his approach or seeing the ball better or whatever it is that's been going on. I'd rather see him doing that at the Aviators than the big squad where it counts. I mean, give him another series. Give him 2 series to straighten out his approach here. But if not, and he keeps up with the 0-2 and the bad swings, then what are we talking about here? We're talking about a short time invested without the 1 or 2 opportunities to see that special play. And what do we get in exchange? Hopefully, months of a better approach, better at bats when it counts, long-term betterment of the offense. Look at our offense. What are we struggling with right now? We're struggling with run production, right? So we're going to, watch. Oh, it's okay. He's this great defender. He's the best defender I've ever seen, right? And like I told you, I've been around since I was a little kid, pretty aware of baseball from a young age. And great defender, man. You got to have both. If we aren't producing runs, it doesn't matter if he has an ESPN top 10 moment. I mean, let's be real. MLB center fielders average 2 to 3 chances a game. Now, for us, it's more typically because we're the A's. But let's deep dive it. If Clark were to go to work on his bat, no traveling, no leaving for the next city right after the game, no erratic sleep pattern, just work on the bat, right? Who takes his place? Likely Butler. Now, Butler isn't doing all that well right now either, but he has history, and we're going to talk about that. Butler, 68th percentile on speed. He hits the gap well. Clearly not Clark. In my opinion, defensively, no one has looked like Clark. But that aside, Butler was a +2 defensive run save last season and only has one error in center field in his entire career. He was +3 in outs above average last year. He's considered serviceable at center field and has done well for the Athletics in the past. So he averages an error 75 games, no matter where he's playing, right? Clark is elite on defense, but averages tell us Butler, if Denzel Clark was to leave for 2 weeks and go hang out in the minors and work on his bat, likely Butler's maybe going to have one error, maybe. And the fans will miss out on 1 or 2 highlights while he's in Vegas. As for bats, is everyone having issues but Shea at the plate? Yes. But most, like I said, have a good history at the plate, already established. So from the plate, not his defense. Clark is not a former All-Star DH. He wasn't a Rookie of the Year. He isn't a former batting champion, and he didn't bat .311 last year, right? So we have to stop comparing him to them. Clark struck out last season 41% of the time because he wasn't seeing shit. Ow, I always do that. I got to figure out a way to stop doing that. Anyway, he has a 50% punch-out rate right now after batting 74 in spring training. Last I checked, they don't call a punch-out a productive out, right? So half the time we can't even get a productive out of this guy. So guess what, peeps? I get to call the bad things Denzel Clark does, right? Top-rated D, bad bat. And I get to surmise a possible way to get him right. Mine happens to be go to Vegas for a little bit. It's a good investment. Bring up Thomas. It's like, go send him down for 2 weeks so we can gain some better at-bats up here when we need better bats up here. Clark sucks. We all know it. We just don't want to say it, right? And we hope it changes. We hope everything changes tomorrow. But, get him some specialized work on his bat down there. And when he does fix this and he makes the adjustments, whether he does them himself or goes down and gets help, I get to cheer that on because that's him changing his habits. Feel me? We got to take the selfish fan out of this because we all want to see the home runs get robbed, right? We want to see the diving catches. We want to see him break and pull something out of the gap. You know what I'm saying? But we also want a more focused strategy from him at the plate too, right? Not a guaranteed out 9 out of 10 at bats like he is right now. We don't have to settle. We can correct it, right? Or we can do what we did with Jerks and Profar. Remember Jerks and Profar? We ignored the deficiency all season, and it takes years to work out. With Profar, we let him throw errant tosses to first all year, right? We didn't start grumbling about it until like 70 games. Like, what are we doing? Like, the guy was overthrowing, throwing to the left, throwing to the right, the yips, whatever you call it. It took years before reaching his potential, right? He eventually became an all-star. So I know it's different in apples and oranges, but I was trying to give you an analytic thing on there. You all know our minor league system got Kurtz and Wilson where they are. So let Clark go get a damn tune-up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying send him down for 3 months. Just give him some specialized individual stuff, and he doesn't have to get up at 4 a.m. and hop a plane and that kind of stuff. Anyway, Jacob Wilson, he hits a 2-run double after Clark loaded the bases. He extended the lead to 3-0. He went 2 for 4, and I want him staying at leadoff. Dallas Braden said during the game that he bat .351 leading off last season, right? So Cut should leave him in there. Langoliers hit his 4th home run to in the 5th to extend the lead. He does that again Wednesday. And Rooker went 1 for 4. He lost his eye again. He K'd the last 3 at-bats. He has 12 on the season, and he leads the A's. In fact, 2 through 5 had 9 Ks in this game. Muncy pounding the ball. He hit a double. I'll round up 111. He nailed the first pitch of the next one. They said it was 97, but he dotted it. It was probably accelerating when it got caught. I don't know. Anyway, it was a win. Another 11 Ks. It's still too much. We need to get better. In the finale, 5-1 loss to Chris Sale. We all saw this game coming. It's Chris Sale. Career ERA is 3. Career, not a good year. Career year. Whip. His whip is actually 1 for a career, which means he only allows 1 guy on pretty much for his career. And he's led both leagues in strikeouts. So the day's going to kind of suck with him on the mound, right? Now, he didn't get a lot of strikeouts, but the dude is filthy. Always has been. Sale saw one over the minimum. He retired 18 and 19. His only blemish was solo home run by Shea. I'm going to call the Athletics Shea's A's from now on because he is the offense. Nobody else. Well, he was 2 for 4 with a homer. But again, only runs are coming from our catcher. Second day in a row for him, he hit a solo. That's his 4th solo shot on the year. What does that mean? His teammates are failing him, right? We reverted back to this weak first trip through the lineup habit. Shea's home run was the first hit for the A's with 2 outs in the fourth. Jacob Wilson. He had another double at leadoff. 2 doubles, 2 days as a leadoff. I'm liking it. I like it. Ibanez did our typical 2-out single that goes nowhere. He rounded off another week's showing at the plate. As I mentioned, Clark had a Player of the Year robbery, center field. He's so good out there, but typical flip side. As I said, he went 0-2 on account, or he went 0-2 on account. He also got pulled after going 0-2 for the day. Kotsay pulled him to pinch hit. Butler's having a slow start too, like I said, and has his own strikeout issues for his career. But he averages over 50 extra base hits a season. He's established his value at the plate while dropping his K rate to 16% early on right now. Obviously from, having 140 Ks a year, Luis Severino started this game as most pitchers for the A's do. He walked 3 of the first 4 people he faced, loaded the bases, took 30 pitches to get out of the first, but the Braves didn't score. Sweet. He started the second. What do you think he did? He walked the batter, of course. He full counted 3 of the first 4 in the second as well. He gave up 2 walks, 2 singles. Drake Baldwin, first hit of the game, 2-run single, basically beat the A's by himself. Severino took 35 pitches to get out of the second, so 65 pitches after 2 innings. Contributed to his early exit. Usually guys are at 65 pitches in the 5th, he's finishing the second. Now, Sever reminded us in the 3rd what he can be, and we've seen it. We saw it last year. He absolutely sucked at Sutter Health Park, and he was really, really solid in his away outings. He struck out the side on 15 pitches. That's pretty darn good. Kotsay pulled him at the right time, too, though. He gave up back-to-back singles, and they were 104 and 102 off the bat in the 4th. He ended up taking the loss. 3 in the 3rd, 4 singles, 5 walks, 4 earned. I'll mention it, though. He did, listen to that, 4 singles, 5 walks, and only 4 earned. I'll mention he did strike out 7, and he minimized the damage. Alvarado came in. He gave up a 2-run double to Baldwin, and then Ole, you can't keep that man down. That guy's such a stud. Part of me's like, I wish he had him back, but then I'm like, but we have Kurtz, Ole got us for an RBI single there. That ended the scoring because Hogan Harris and Luis Medina allowed just 1 hit the rest of the way. Hogan Harris, 19 pitches to get the 5th and 6th taken care of. He's having a great start. 4 games, 5 innings, and 0 runs. Luis Medina, he pitched an easy 7th, took 9 pitches to end the 8th. Obviously, didn't have to pitch the 9th. So where are we now, guys? Where are we now? We were swept in Toronto. We lost 2 or 3 in Atlanta. 1-5 start. So we got our first win, but the offense is horrible, except for Shea. He's got 5 hits in 6 games, or 5 of the 6 games he has hits. He has 4 home runs in 4 games. Only other starter batting 200 or better is Wilson, and he's batting 200. But hey, batting 375 as a leadoff. He's batting 313 in his last 4 games. I think he's comfy. I think Kotsay should knock off the Kurtz at leadoff experiment, but it's Kotsay. He probably won't. I learned, long ago that he's pretty stubborn in how he does stuff. I'm always gonna, be his biggest cheerleader when he changes some of his poor habits or he evolves. But it's rare. Let's be honest. As a team, the A's are dead last, 177. Surprisingly, the A's have actually ate some innings this series. And while the record is bad, as a staff, we have a 4.33 ERA. That's actually kind of okay given the volume of hitters that have actually reached base in the first 6 games, right? Thoughts? You guys tell me. What do we need to do? What are you guys seeing? What, for that matter, what are you guys seeing about Denzel Clark? How much longer should we be patient? A couple series, a couple months? Just let him do it all year? These are thoughts, and I want your guys' thoughts. My thoughts: Savali is 1-0 in A's gear. Gotta love that because it's like fresh start, and sometimes that builds momentum, right? And he did look like he was building momentum. He was getting nice at the end. Why is JT Ginn only had 1 appearance? We haven't seen him since he went 3 2/3. He had 1 hit ball in Toronto in the finale. Yeah, we lost the game, but he had a fantastic day. Where the hell is he? Anyways, a day off for the fans means what? We got to go out, build some altars. You guys go get the voodoo dolls out. Whatever we need to do, man. A's are home against the Stros, and we need a factory reset. Kurtz likes high-calorie intake of Astros pitching, if I remember correctly. Seems to me he likes to rope-a-dope with them. So scary. For the first time in years, I am looking forward to Houston, which is kind of cool. Jeffrey Springs versus Christian Javier. Javier, Astros pitcher, he gave up 6 earned in his first start, which is just what the doctor ordered, right? See you guys Monday after the series. That's all I got, man. Got to pray for the change. Peace.